Bits and pieces of this and that. Does any of it look familiar to you? Mainline sure hopes it does once they're finished with it.
Mainline manufacturers equalizers, pads, and plugins. But how do they turn all those little parts into something that functions? Well, today we're going to answer that question and many more. I guarantee you it took some patience, some testing, and a whole lot of engineering common sense.
When you walk through the doors of Mainline, you are introduced to an array of different employees. For years, they have been meticulously working in Torrance.
Started in 1986. I started in a little office over on Hawthorne Boulevard, just across from PCH. And the idea was to start repping and selling both new and refurbished cable television products.
On average, Mainline manufactures 750,000 parts a year. That's right, and they even store them on the premises. Their 36,000 square foot facility houses everything they need. The best way to see it all was to take a tour. Still wondering what they really do? In a nutshell, they manufacture products for the broadband industry, along with a few specialty items.
We're using the most technologically advanced components of today. Remember when you opened up a radio years ago and they had little transistors color-coded? Today we don't use those. Today we use much smaller components, if you hold out your hand, which has helped in the miniaturization of products like cell phones and amplifiers. That actually replaces those.
We decided to show you exactly how small those pieces are by setting them next to a quarter. Imagine this. They're planning to get smaller too. Now it's time to put the components on the PC board. This machine can place about 20,000 pieces per hour.
From there, they go through what we refer to as an oven, where it bakes the components onto the PC boards. Nothing more than a very large pizza oven.
After a quick bake, it rolls off the belt and gets ready for the next step, putting the pins in. By doing this, it allows you to plug the board into the module assembly. Definitely not a job you would want to do by hand. Mainline has a computer program for each portion of the board to ensure quality and precision in their products. We followed Mark to the Wave solder equipment. This is a favorite among the Mainline staff, along with my crew.
The board gets spray fluxed on this side, which allows it to become soldered, and then it heats the board up to 210 degrees centigrade, and then it will spray solder on here, and you'll actually see the spray come up. It's actually very, very interesting to watch.
Can you believe that this process used to be done all by hand? Now with all the technological advances, it's the machine that does it all. Well, not quite. Someone has to take the soldered board out and stand it up to be cooled. Even though Mainline is about technology, they still need the human touch.
On this line, we put in, these ladies and gentlemen put in all the parts that the machines can't put in automatically.
This is a special group within the Mainline team. Since 1987, they have sustained a tight-knit relationship with goodwill.
Well, we have 12 people here now. 3 of them are profoundly deaf. The rest are either physically or emotionally challenged. I'm sure some of them are mentally challenged, but more emotional.
At one time, Mainline even employed a blind girl. Norma just can't say enough about their commitment to the company.
And I love each and every one of them. I call them my children, and they range anywhere from 35 to 52. But they're wonderful. They're on time. They do their work. They love what they do.
This company is proud to have a defect rate of less than 0.1%. That is in part due to these technicians.
And what you can see is, again, we have over 30 automated test benches that allow these guys to be quick, repeatable, and accurate in the results of what they're doing.
All of their network analyzers, vector network analyzers, and spectrum analyzers are Hewlett-Packard. and are calibrated yearly by the manufacturer. The employees here are dedicated to seeing this company succeed. There are many 10-year or more employees. Time to head for the other part of Mainline.
The other side of our business, besides the manufacturing, is the repair side of the business. And these gentlemen are repairing units for such customers as Time Warner, many of the cable companies and broadband communication companies in the industry. And again, all of our systems are automated, and this gives you a chance to see what a full-blown unit would look like after it's all stuffed.
Are you starting to see things more clearly now? It can be an overwhelming topic to understand.
And what they're doing here is, of course, they're realigning rack mount and field transmitters and receivers for customers in the cable television, again in broadband industries.
Since the facility is so big, we've visited one of the side rooms to see what goes on in there.
What we're doing in here is we're inspecting and touching up any of the larger motherboards and small accessory units needed for main production.
Mainline's policy is 0 defects to the customer, and to simply do it right the first time around. In fact, don't be surprised to find the managers out on the floor pitching in to help out.
I believe we run 5 tests on each unit. Every unit that we build is 100% tested and tuned using state-of-the-art electronic equipment.
Ready to give your brain a little tease? Here's the question. True or false? Celsius and centigrade are the same measurement. We'll have the answer right after the break.
Plastic ones last longer.
Pork bellies close steady due to speculation that demand for bacon-related products.
Read me this one, Daddy.
Okay, honey. The less art kids get, the more it shows. Are yours getting enough? Art. Ask for more. AmericansForTheArts.org.
Okay, so how this is going to work is when I connect these wires, the electricity is going to cause a chemical reaction to simulate the eruption. Eruption, very good.
If you're not helping after-school programs, you're really helping to take them away. After-school programs, wouldn't you rather be helping?
The less art kids get,
Good job.
the more it shows. Are yours getting enough? Art. Ask for more.
Now back to common sense. Time to brush up on your thinking skills. The question is, true or false? Celsius and centigrade are the same measurement. The answer is true. Our mainline tour continues with a look into the Tiara Room. This section of the plant builds products, such as amplifiers, from the ground up. Once completed, the item will look like what you'll find up on a pole or in the ground. The weight? About 58 pounds. It was finally time to see where everything goes once it has been through all the departments.
Well, here we are in the warehouse. We manufacture over 1,830 end items that we have to keep track of, all stored and stocked in here, not counting the thousands and thousands of pieces of raw material that go into those products. So over here, as you can see, we have many, many different small accessory items that we have. And then over in that area, you will see amplifiers and larger items that we manufacture.
They are highly organized. The parts are color-coded, and each row has a list of the specific products. With everything that is going on in here, you might think it would take a while to receive your order. You thought wrong.
We tend to build most of our items to stock, but we do have some custom items. If you call today, our goal is to ship within 24 hours. In many cases, we can do same-day service.
Now that is what I call customer service. They are also loyal to their workers. Mainline has doubled the number of jobs in the building this year alone. But just like any other company, there are challenges.
It changes on a yearly basis. I think there's two major challenges I have as president of the company. One is to develop the direction in an ever-changing technological environment that we live in. And the second part is to maintain a good workforce here within our building that doesn't turn over and is loyal to the company and the company being loyal to them.
A company like this has many exciting products on the horizon. We went straight to the Director of Engineering to see and understand what we currently have and what we can expect.
For instance, right now you have DSL, which can get up to a certain speed. You have your cable modems, but most of those will give you download speeds that are fast but very slow upload. So in order to increase that, you really need to have more bandwidth in both directions, and that's the type of amplifier that we're working on, because the fiber in both directions gives you that extra bandwidth you can deliver right to the customer.
Mainline's niche is building items that larger manufacturers aren't making right now. With all the technology these days, along with the mind of an inventive engineer, who knows what will be 50 years from now? But for now, here's what we have to look forward to.
Okay, this is our new fiber to the curb or fiber to the home amplifier. It has a lot of flashing lights, but they're very meaningful as to their capabilities and what they do. As you can see, we have a couple of coaxes in this side, and we have fiber optics on this side. And right now we're simulating sending a signal in fiber about 25 miles and then having it come back. And we're using this amplifier both to transmit and receive that fiber signal through about a 25-mile fiber. It's capable of diagnosing itself. And if you see these little blinking lights on the left, these are the fiber transmitters. And on the right side, this series of LEDs is the fiber receiver converted to RF.
Keep in mind that fiber is analog, not digital, which means it can handle all types of carriers, including normal television channel feeds. Along with channels, it can also interact with broadband data and internet communications. Here's an explanation of what Mainline is going to introduce to the public.
And this little unit, handheld unit, which you can see that lights up when I press the button, is basically that entire circuit built in to a little handheld battery operated unit. We also have the mini 1 gigahertz dual directional amplifier. This is the sort of little brother to the big distribution amplifier, and this one has a pair of diplex filters and can run directly off of 12 volts, and this would be the type of thing you'd put in your home if you wanted to boost the cable signal because you're using multiple TVs and cable modems.
If you still aren't satisfied with all you've heard, you can learn more on the company's website.
Actually, we're doing two things. We have a retail site, and we also have a customer site for existing customers. The retail site, what it's going to allow customers to do is place orders online, basically through a catalog. The portal, what it allows customers to do is if they're an existing customer, they get a username and password, they can log into the site. If they have a repair or if they want to place an order, they can do that there. And basically, we try and make it very easy for the customer to do.
We hopped onto their website to see how easy it is to navigate. What we found is that Mainline is definitely a company that is proactive when it comes to customer service. They are also eager to give back to the community by sponsoring various events for children and the youth in Torrance. Clearly, Mainline is pushing the envelope in their industry. If it came down to just 3 words to describe themselves.
Wow, that's the hardest question anybody asked. Changing, growing, and fun.
We covered a lot of information today, but I hope you learned something. I'm Tiffany Wong. Make sure to join us again for another edition of Common Sense, where we'll go inside a business in your community, right here on City Cable Channel 3.